nice to have a fan club. Oh. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of WMSC's Local Live. Broadcasting tonight from Anodyne on Walker's Point. Shout out to the audience here. You all look lovely and you smell really good. Tonight's show is also being live streamed. You can watch from our WMSC page. You can watch from Facebook. You can watch from YouTube. So if you're tuned in and you want to see what Trapper looks like in real time, you can definitely tune in. I just wanted to make a note that today is National Giving Day for Public Media. So it's really important because events like these free shows that we put on once a month at Anodyne are happened because of funding from our supporters. We kick off our membership drive on Friday. So we hope that you all will look to support the great radio station of WMSC.
Local Live is presented by Third Space Brewing. You have your home, you have your work, but everyone needs a third space. Now, ladies and gentlemen, both here at Anodyne and at home, please, a big warm welcome for the tireless, the talented, and the very, very tall Trapper Schoepp.
I'm tired, Matt. All right, this first one's called Secrets of the Breeze. What's a rolling river and the rain rippling at night? Saw the silver moonbeams on the trees, and I heard the spring wind in the weeds whistling, but I never heard the secrets of the breeze. Overcome with love, and I heard her voice come whispering, told me a lie, but not the secrets of the breeze. Saw the truth in the morning light, and I saw shadows in the night, and I saw the moon eclipsing, but I'll never learn the secrets of the breeze. Felt the waves come crashing down. Now so deep I might have drowned. But I held my breath and the tide pushed me. Well, no more do I explore the secrets of the breeze. I don't think many of you disagree with me when I say that there's way too much war in this world, and so many veterans come home struggling, whether it's physically or mentally. And I wrote this song after hearing some stories of veterans from a local organization called Guitars for Vets, and it's called Cliffs of Dover. Left turn, right turn, too many ways to go. You spawn out and froze like a doe in the snow. You're too scared of dying to ever be living. You have no sins to ever be forgiven. Whoa, whoa, oh, and the bullets blow. Brother, don't you know we were bound to lose? And now you're lying in bed with them Baghdad blues. God's out for the season, demons got a reason, doing the high crimes and the misdemeanors. Whoa, whoa, oh, and the bullets roll. Oh, oh. And there will always be bluebirds over the white cliffs, cliffs of Dover. There will always be bluebirds over the white cliffs, cliffs of Dover. All your thoroughbreds left in the stable, and your best ideas lay dead on the table. We lost him to their dirty little war. Turn off the television, wonder what 20 years were for. Whoa, oh, and the bullets roll. Oh, oh. And there will always be bluebirds over the white cliffs, cliffs of Dover. There will always be bluebirds over the white cliffs, cliffs of Dover. There will always be bluebirds over the white cliffs, cliffs of Dover. There will always be bluebirds over the white cliffs, cliffs of Dover. Hey! Okay, there's this song of ours called Queen of the Mist, and it has a very crazy story behind it. This woman named Annie Edison Taylor, on her 63rd birthday, she felt as though she hadn't made enough of herself in the world, so she took a pretty drastic measure. She decided she would become the first person to ever go over Niagara Falls in a wooden barrel, okay? This is absolutely insanity. And she survived. Her cat survived, who she put over first with a bunch of pillows inside. So animal rights folks, don't get too excited. But here we go. Let's try this one for Annie Edison Taylor, Queen of the Mist. Watch the barrel twist. Over Niagara Falls. The old men scoff as she took off. And I won't repeat the name she was called. A long American shores. October 24, she climbed in and fastened the top, a pillow at her side. She closed her eyes until the rolling stopped. Her 63rd birthday, what a glorious day to do what no one had ever done. They called it suicide, but she was afraid to die in the poorhouse. Young Annie Edison Taylor, Annie Edison Taylor, they called her the Queen of the Mist. She was to take the dive, to take the plunge or die in the poorhouse. Young. Queen of the Mist. Watch the barrel twist over Niagara Falls. Did she live or die? Their doubt she defied. She flied like a cannon ball, and she told the press, if it was my dying breath, I'd advise no one do as I've done, to take the dive, to take the plunge or die in the poorhouse. Young. Annie Edison Taylor, Annie Edison Taylor, they call her the Queen of the Mist. She was to take the dive, to take the plunge or die in the poorhouse. Young.
That was fantastic, Trapper. Thank you so much. First and foremost, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes.
May Day.
So you've just come off this tour. You've played overseas, and you've also been playing across America, and you've done World Cafe, which is a huge thing for a band to play in Philadelphia. You've been reviewed by No Depression, American Songwriter, Rolling Stone. All of these exciting things are happening. Does this release, Siren Song, which I should say is the record that just came out by Trapper, Matt is
Here it
holding
is
up
in
for
a lovely vinyl
for
copy
your-
of
for
the
your,
new record.
presentation.
Deluxe. That is
Congrats
the
on
deluxe
this. Yeah, very
edition.
nice.
Does it feel different this time around? I mean, you've been doing this for a while now, so does it feel different?
Well, we did this with the last record. We did this record with the time before, right? So part of it is deja vu, but part of it is a completely new experience. You know, we've never played these songs, us three together, let alone played them on this stage. So every time you sing a song, every time you perform a song, it's a unique opportunity to give the song another chance, give the song another life. You know, that's what folk singing is all about, is just moving forward, changing as you go, evolving, reinventing, renewing, regeneration. You know, it's this constant process. So yeah, each time's different.
Well, I read something where you said you wanted to be a part of the link of early folk singers and storytellers to, I guess, future storytellers and folk singers. But I feel like you, just even to your progression through all the records that you've put out, that you actually are the next generation of folk singers and storytellers. How do you feel about carrying this with you?
It's a very long chain, you know, and I don't need a big link in the chain. You know, there are these absolute titans of American music, like, you know, Gordon Lightfoot, who just passed away. Canadian, but you know, still.
He's still a folk singer. I mean, he's from Canada, Tanner.
Because he's Canadian, does he not get to be a folk singer? This is going to be a crazy date here. No, but there's this long link or long chain of folk singers, and I just want to occupy that little piece. And I feel like I've done that with my songs. You know, the most obvious example is Bob Dylan. You know, he wrote this song in 1961 about Wisconsin. 57 years later, I picked it up and finished it. And a lot of these songs might not be as clear of an example of folk music in action, but you know, a lot of these songs are. We did Cliffs of Dover, and that lended a few lines from a famous World War II anthem by Vera Lynn. It's called White Cliffs of Dover. I canceled the white on mine. But yeah, a lot of what I do lends from the past. We're gonna do one, I think, in this next set, 7 Mile Fair, and there's this lyric in it, scarlet ribbons in her hair. And I was listening to the great folk singer, Harry Belafonte, and he had a line about that. So I think it's this big patchwork quilt of you know, all these different traditions and songs and lyrics and people that really is what I try to put in this melting pot I call folk music.
Well, and speaking of your lyrics, your first song that you played, Secrets of the Breeze, is about an incident you had in Lake Michigan?
That's true. What are you calling me out for, Sid? The Coast Guard was not involved. I got really into paddle boarding during the pandemic. It was just a really nice way to escape everything, no COVID, out in the middle of Lake Michigan. And when the fall came along, I thought, man, it's getting a little bit colder, a little riskier to be out here. And then when winter came, I could not be stopped. And I went out one day, and here's the thing. You bring your board down there, you get going. You're like, okay, I can do it. And I get out there, and this big wave comes, pushes me under, throws me up and down and into this big set of boulders, and this older woman comes running up to me and says, are you alive? And I was like, yes, I'm here. Here I am. But I went to the ER that night, and it just so happened that my doctor was a surfer who was out on Lake Michigan that day, one beach over. And I was like, man, this is crazy coincidence. And
Dr. Spicoli by any chance?
Huh?
Dr. Spicoli?
What is his first name?
Jeff, right?
Jeff.
You're on a
Spicoli,
first name basis with your doctors?
Yeah, you know.
But anyway, I did survive. And the whole incident, though, was a nice reality check in that Mother Nature is completely unpredictable. And embrace those secrets. Don't try to figure it all out. You know, that's the beauty of Mother Nature.
Now, you mentioned earlier that this is kind of your first time playing these songs on this stage with this group. Now, this group needs no introduction, but why don't you introduce them anyway?
all the way from Bayview, Wisconsin tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I think he'll be with me the whole show. Quinn Sharber, make some noise. Is that all you got? Quinn, yeah, I got him to play the acoustic guitar. I think it's sounding pretty good. He has it Nashville strung and open tuned, which is maybe not English to most people, but it sounds great to me. And over here on the bass guitar, all the way from Shorewood, Wisconsin, we have the man in black this evening, Tanner Schoepp on the precision bass. Give it up for Tanner, he's here. He's here.
Quinn, I just wanted to say, if anyone has been to the Milwaukee Film Festival, which is still going on right now, really been enjoying some of your work that you've done, Quinn, doing a lot of the trailer music and stuff like that. So, nice job. Just want to give a shout out.
Quinn did a Busch Light Super Bowl ad 2 years in a row, the music for it, and year 1 was Kenny G, and year 2 was, who was it? Sarah McLachlan, yeah.
Kroll Sharber plug
Yeah.
for all your music needs.
Quinn's very talented, yes.
So let's keep talking about Quinn for the rest of the evening. No, actually, I want to. Before we get to, I feel like there's a lot to get into with this new record, Siren Songs. Fantastic piece of work, by the way, and I feel there's a lot to get into with inspirations, where it was recorded, who it was recorded with. Before we get to all that, I want to know a bit of a personal question. How is your dog, Leroy?
How's my dog, Leroy?
Yes.
Is great. We snuck him into the Pfister Hotel last night for my 33rd birthday.
And
Yeah, he got into the jacuzzi, for those wondering.
in case you're wondering, Trevor's dog is a Boston Terrier, and he is very cute.
Yes,
He's starred in numerous, at least 1 or 2 music videos with you, yes?
yes, all over Milwaukee we went on
and
a bike.
and he just appeared in a tintype with you, correct, for your
We
birthday?
just did a tintype with Margaret Musa. Yeah, he's great.
Is Leroy tuned in at home? Is he
Yes, I
listening
think he
on a
is.
stereo
Yeah,
receiver?
Tanner. He loves Uncle Tanner.
Bark twice, Leroy, if you can hear us. Yes. So let's talk about this record, Siren Songs. Like I said, I think there's a lot to get into. Just give us some background on this. It was recorded in a very specific, very special place. Tell us all about it.
Yes. Well, we recorded the album in 7 days, 14 tracks, 7 days, you do the math, at Johnny Cash's cabin. Now, this is a sacred, holy house of Americana music, if there ever was one. You walk in, and there's June Carter Cash's old Steinway piano. You walk over to the guitar rack. There is everything on there from Luther Dickinson's Telecaster to Johnny Cash's, and I won't swear, but you can fill in the blank, crap kicker guitar. And this guitar is famous for being the guitar that Johnny left on his couch his whole life. And to give you an idea of who would stroll through, one night Johnny had a song swap, and Bob Dylan played Lay Lady Lay for the first time. Joni Mitchell played Both Sides Now for the first time. Passed it over to Chris Christopherson, who did Sunday Morning Coming Down for the first time. So pretty special instruments and a pretty special space, no doubt. So pretty cool, I guess you could say.
And there's even more Cash lore involved here, not just the cabin, but a family member, correct?
Yeah, Joseph Cash, Johnny's grandson, took the album cover photo, and what else? He played dobro on a couple songs, and it was just really a great experience. We called it Keeping Up with the Cashes because every day was a crazy new experience. One day we were tracking this next song we're going to do called 7 Mile Fair, and we heard this intense vibration above us, and I said, what is going on? And the engineer said, oh, it's probably just routine. And so we try to keep recording. The vibration doesn't stop. We come out of the cabin, and there are armed policemen on ATVs and a helicopter above circling the property. And I looked at the engineer, and I said, well, this doesn't seem routine. And turns out there was a intruder on the property, and we were still on the clock. So I said, all right, guys, let's, center ourselves, go back in and hit record. And we recorded this song called 7 Mile Fair. and it's really funny in it. There's a line that goes, and the band played on and on and on and on. And we recorded most of the album live, and we got this one down in a few takes. Walked outside, and there was this cop, southern cop, who runs up to us, and he says in his accent, which I'll try not to replicate, he goes, I got paid to tackle a guy in a field today. And then he's like, can I get my picture with you boys? You're like, yeah, you can. So Joseph got his black and white camera out and took this really classic photo of all of us smiling on the porch with these cops. It was really a strange moment.
That's a real full day, isn't it? Tackle
Yeah.
some guy in a field,
Yeah,
stumble upon the cabin, and get a nice photo taken with you guys.
it was really strange.
You mentioned 7 Mile Fair, which I'm assuming is you're going to be playing that in a little bit here. I'm assuming inspired by
By the 7 Mile Fair.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a shout out for somehow it's my favorite track on the record, by the way, and congrats on writing a beautiful and lovely song about 7 Mile Fair. I don't know if anyone has ever attempted it. Certainly no one has succeeded in it. So congrats.
It's nowhere near as romantic as the song makes it out to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say not enough lyrics about Marvin the Martian T-shirts and just random junk lying around.
Yes,
But,
exactly.
very
I'm a
nice.
bit of a picker, though, so to me it's kind of romantic still.
Trapper, one of the things that I read about your album shoot is that the water that you're photographed in. Can you expel on that?
Yes, so
Expand,
that
not
water
expand.
I'm standing in on the cover, that was, the center of the cache ground. So I thought of it as sort of a thinking man's pond for Johnny Cash, and some of the final shots of him and his wheelchair were actually in front of this pond. And famously, he would go down there to read letters from Bob Dylan, and he would read the letters twice, commit them to memory, crumple them up, and throw them in the pond to protect their sacred correspondence. And I thought, that is so cool that those letters are not ended, they didn't end up in the Country Music Hall of Fame. They didn't end up on eBay. They're still kind of pure in between those two, which I think is really, really great.
That's great.
You didn't go looking for them, any kind of
That's-
dredging the water. Perhaps?
That's actually the album shoot. Joseph saw me diving down for the letters and
Fantastic.
hit record.
Do you want to talk about his debut?
Oh yeah, I was thank you, Sid. I was
Absolutely.
on my way here this evening, and I was at my office, and I found this WMSC calendar for 2023, and I flipped it over to the month of May, which we're in now, and wouldn't you know it, here's our calendar cover boy, Trapper, for the month of
man.
May. Actually, this photo also shot here at Anodyne on Bruce Street. So.
Right there.
Right there. So I just thought, what a wacky coincidence. I don't know
Yeah.
if that was by design or by a coincidence. So I just thought I'd bring that up.
It's beautiful. Support WMSC, get the calendars, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, let's go into the next set of music, Trapper and Tanner and
Quinn.
Quinn. Sorry.
Let's try this one, 7 Mile Fair. Scarlet ribbons in her hair, scarlet ribbons in her hair, scarlet ribbons in her hair. When I met her last summer, the 7 Mile Fair. I think I know you from somewhere. Think I know you from somewhere. Think I know you from somewhere. She told me last summer, 7 Mile Fair. And the band played on and on, and on and on, on and on, ribbons in her hair, scarlet ribbons in her hair. When I met her last summer to 7 Mile Fair, and the band played on and on and on and on, on and on, and they played on and on and on and on, on and on, and they played on and on and on and on, on and on, and they played on and on and on and on, on and on.
Thank you, friends.
Okay, this next song is about a very hot button issue. I hope it's okay to do. It's about drag queens, specifically about a drag queen who is a Manhattan businessman by day and a Brooklyn drag queen by night. And I was inspired to write this song because I read somewhere that sailors' wives actually were some of the very first people to dress in drag. They would get dressed up like sailors and go to sea with their men. And I can't imagine the reaction of some of the other sailors when they found out. But anyway, this is called Silk and Satin, and it goes out to all the drag queens out there in the world. Let's try it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Silk and satin, he loves him in that silk and satin, silk and satin, silk and satin, he loves him in that silk and satin. Throw out them old sailor blues from mermaid red and high heel shoes. Slip into that tight elastic to trip them lights so fantastic. You can't wait to see him stare at your neon nails and bleach blonde hair. Cross that river from Manhattan to Brooklyn, wearing silk and satin, silk and satin, silk and satin. He loves him in that silk and satin, silk and satin, silk and satin. He loves him in that silk and satin. Yes, you put on such a show with your eyeshadow and your silicone. Give 'em that prima donna synthetic diamonds. You make them wanna dive into a sea of glitter, string of pearls, bourbon and bitters. That first mate's found a captain in Brooklyn, wearing silk and satin, silk and satin, silk and satin. He loves him in that silk and satin, silk and satin, silk and satin. He loves him in that silk and satin. Monday, Monday is such a scare. You tie your tie and comb your hair, and you wipe that mascara with a napkin from last night's running. Silk and satin, he loves him in that silk and satin, silk and satin, silk and satin. He loves him in that silk and satin. He wants him in that silk and satin. He needs him in that silk and satin. Has anyone here ever been up to the Devil's Kettle near Lake Superior? It is one of the coolest rock formations I have ever seen. And it's like a crazy waterfall where one stream flows off into Lake Superior via the Brule River, and the other one goes underground to a completely unknown location. And it is said that Al Capone would actually take his bodies up north from there and dispose of them in the Devil's Kettle. So pretty wild thing to see. And I thought that would make for a pretty cool song. So this is your official warning about the Devil's Kettle. Look out. Ready? One, two, three. Don't get caught in the Devil's Kettle. There's thorns and thistles and lots of nettles in. You go down where the river splits. Yes, you'll have to answer for it. You won't wash ashore like Jonah before. The belly of a beast always hungry for more. Look out, boys, a fleet of Soviet vessels batten down the hatches for the Devil's Kettle. And don't get caught in the Devil's Kettle. There's thorns and thistles and lots of nettles here. You go down where the river splits. Yes, you'll have to answer for it. A storm's raging, don't rock the boat. God won't answer, anybody's won't float. Way down deep, yes, sails sink and settle down to the bottom of the Devil's Kettle. Don't get caught, the Devil's Kettle. There's thorns and thistles and lots of nettles in. You go down where the river splits. Yes, you'll have to answer for it. I saw Al Capone up this way from Cicero. Driver hit the gas, he's got scores to settle. Way down deep in the Devil's Kettle. Don't get caught in the Devil's Kettle. There's thorns and thistles and lots of nettles here. You go down where the river splits. Yes, you'll have to answer for it. I met Annalie up at the head of the Mississippi. We ran off into the woods and behind her back came old Lucifer with a gun in his sack. He said, right this way to the Devil's Kettle. There's thorns and thistles and lots of nettles. If you go down where the river splits. Yes, you'll have to answer for it. Have to answer for it. Have to answer for it.
And you are tuned into WMSC 91.7 FM live from Anodyne with Trapper Schoepp, and I'm here with my co-host Matt Wild from the Milwaukee Record. Take it away, Matt.
Hi, Sid. Thank you very much. So, Trapper. Let's talk about, yes, thank you. Let's talk more about this record, Siren Songs. I'm kind of noticing a theme here. You got a lot of kind of songs inspired by kind of weird, quirky stories. We just heard one about the possible resting place of Al Capone. We've got the lady going over, was it Niagara Falls, right? Mm-hmm. In the barrel. We've got 7 Mile Fair, the strangest of them all. Where are you getting your inspiration from these things? Are you just kind of like browsing through like a copy of Weird Wisconsin or something and like, oh, that's a good song?
I'm like the Milwaukee Record of songwriters, just anything peculiar
Anything,
out there.
yeah, any kind of, yeah, like, you're going to write songs about how many Taco Bells you can eat at in one day or something like that?
I am very sorry to hear of the passing of the snow pile across from Red Arrow Park.
Thank you.
I
I appreciate that.
You've been on that beat. You've been watching it, but it's finally, it was 2 days ago, I think.
2 days ago, yeah. This is what's left of my journalistic integrity, watching a snow pile melt. Thank you.
Give the people what they want, though, you know? That's what they...
Believe me, I do.
That's what they're looking for. But I'm slightly ashamed to say that I'm tethered to my iPhone like most humans. And Devil's Kettle, that song we just played, I went up to see the Devil's Kettle in 2013, and I made a note in my phone that just said, don't get caught in the Devil's Kettle. And then when we did this album 10 years later, I had kind of had that in the brain bank and the phone note cloud storage system. And I called upon that, and I wrote 5 verses and did a little bit of research and homework about it. But yeah, it is funny. I come from a journalist background. I went to UWM here in town, studied in radio journalism. So I think I do really enjoy, of course, the art of storytelling, but also researching it is really, really fun for me. I enjoy that. I just wrote a song about Lori Bembenek, Bambi, and I watched a whole 90s documentary. It's like a 60-minute style local documentary on her. And yeah, you learn a lot about history that way. It's really fun.
They're doing a musical based on her, aren't they?
I'm going to beat them to it.
Yeah, I think, it's on. I think Gordon from the Violent Femmes is doing the music for it. It's a musical about Laurentia Bembenek, yeah, so hop to it.
Mm-hmm.
You also there was a bit, all of your albums, and especially this one, they're just kind of loaded with these quirky little things that pop up. And this one, not only are you recording at Johnny Cash's cabin and all that, the name of the record is Siren Songs. And when I first think of sirens, I think of, the mythological creatures. And then I think of the film, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The Coen Brothers film.
I know, me too.
There are sirens in that, and wouldn't you know it, someone from that film, yes, that sang on that soundtrack, the terrific soundtrack for that Coen Brothers film, also popped in on your record, yes?
Yeah, that was really a strange story. Sarah was her name, and we were looking for a female vocalist for 3 to 4 songs, and the groundskeeper, Sarah is his wife, and was just dropping by anyway, the people that would drop by the Cash Cabin. But she was one of the singers. George Clooney had 3 daughters in that movie that were the group of singers, and it was this woman, Sarah, and her sisters. And very cool to hear her sing all over the album. She's got this really nice, smooth, dolly voice.
Oh, what a great tidbit you
I
dug
know,
out
it's
there,
just,
Matt.
it's just
That's
nothing
awesome.
but tidbit. I do my research as well.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
love it.
I got to ask you, seem to really love Milwaukee. You go into Lake Michigan in the middle of winter in your wetsuit. You write about the 7 Mile Fair. I mean, what is it about Milwaukee that truly speaks to you, and why do you love it so much?
I have to say, during the pandemic, I grew to love it all the more because I, for the first time, established a bit of a nice friend circle around me and got to connect with all these friends who I hadn't seen in years because I was always, by the time I'd get back, I'd get ready to leave again. So I think during the pandemic, it was really special to reconnect with so many friends in the city that maybe I hadn't seen in a long time or didn't have the time to see. But I love the proximity to the lake. That is great. There's awesome music venues here in town. Wisconsin is dead last in funding for the arts, so that is heartbreaking. That really is. But I think the community here in Milwaukee that supports radio stations like this are very dedicated and very passionate, and that is what makes the city awesome. So go WMSE, go Anodyne
90.91.
Coffee, go Lake Michigan. We have a lot of cool things going for us here.
There you go.
Go Trapper Schoepp.
Thank you, Tanner
Go
Schoepp.
Trap, go.
And so I have to ask, so I said I would ask a Boston Terrier question. Why the Boston Terrier as opposed to like the German Shepherd, the Labrador, the Dachshund, the mixed breed? Why? Because they're hyper, they've got a lot of energy, they're cute as can be.
Oh my God. Well, today, Leroy loves this laser. So I've been trying to figure out a way where I can go about with my life while draining energy of him. He's like, I can like see it draining like a bar on a video game. But so I rigged up this laser to my hat. So I just attach it to my hat and then I walk around the house. And today I found myself like cooking lunch with one hand, shaving with the other, and then I had like the laser going all over the house. So he just kind of goes. But they're just really passionate, extroverted dogs, and it's just every moment with them is pure chaos. So it's like watching a horror movie, You're like, at least I'm not that guy, Yeah, they're just super wild and energetic. It's fun.
Tanner and Quinn, do you guys have animals?
I have a fish.
You do?
Quinn has a fish.
The 4-year-old wanted a hamster or a gerbil, and I said, you could have a fish.
Excellent. All right.
Tanner has an amazing turntable set up, so that's his animal.
His little pet. You mentioned you kind of rigged this thing up for Leroy. Speaking of rigging things up, we don't have to spend too much time on this, but I thought I'd bring it up. In addition to being a celebrated musician, you are something of a social media sensation as well.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking of, this went viral, as they say. This was something that you rigged up, I believe, at an old apartment of yours some years ago. Tell us about.
I've had a few videos go viral, and it's exposed me to the dark side of the internet. That
My apologies. By the
never
way, yeah.
figured that out. But we had a Seinfeld-based sensor, that Seinfeld bass riff sensor. So every time someone would walk through the door would go boom, 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 do like kind of a Seinfeld riff. And throughout the years, we'd just film all these different people walking through the door because everyone wanted the video. And this is kind of before you'd post every single thing on the internet. And the one that went crazy viral was my landlord at the time and a city inspector walked through the door, and I did ask their permission to film, but they just like the look on their faces was this mix between pure joy and terror. It was really funny though. All the comments were like, his rent's going up to double now, and all these things that actually ended up being true. So that was kind of funny. But yeah.
Trapper, so you're going to go on tour, right?
Yes.
That's what's coming up. Where do you go next?
Well, we've been through Europe and the East Coast, so now we have to go into the Great Plains. Tanner and I are going to Kansas City tomorrow, and we are going to South Dakota for the very first time, and that's where all my family is from. So we're going to play Sioux Falls, and then what is the next city? Minneapolis, and then this Sunday at Shank Hall in Milwaukee, and then we have a day off, and then I forget where we go.
Is all your family coming to the?
Yes.
How
they
many
will.
Sheps are there?
I do not
Thousands?
know who will all show up. Thousands of Sheps on the scene.
And if anybody wants to find your music or find how to buy your latest release on vinyl or CD, what do they need to do?
Well, they are stocking it at Lilliput Records in Milwaukee. Great new store. And otherwise, you can go to Uncle Google. Just type in Trapper Schoepp. Schoepp is spelled Schoepp. And you can find the whole world of me there, hopefully.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've got one more song by you, and we're excited for it.
Yeah,
Talk about this song.
This is about a love triangle gone wrong, and it ends in the public square with a hanging. It's actually not a song that I wrote, but interpreting here for the very first time, Long Black Veil, a song that Johnny Cash sang quite a bit. So let's try it out. Ago, on a cold, dark night, there was someone killed me. The town hall light. Few at the scene, but they all agreed that the man who ran looked a lot like me. The judge said, son, what's your alibi? If you were somewhere else, then you don't have to die. Spoke not a word, but it meant my life. I had been in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wave. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Scaffolds high and eternity nears. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black veil, she cries over my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows
Trapper Schoepp,
Trapper
ladies and
Schoepp.
gentlemen. Trapper Schoepp. Trapper, thank you. Tanner, Quinn, thank you. And thanks everyone for coming out here to Anodyne. Always a pleasure doing these at the beautiful Anodyne on Bruce Street. Tonight's edition of Local Live was broadcast and live streamed here from Anodyne on Bruce Street. Local Live is a production of 91.7 WMSE, co-produced by myself and Sid. Audio and video engineering by Neverland Productions. All graphics by Urtruck Design. Band hospitality by the delicious, always delicious Transfer Pizza. Local Live, once again, is presented by Third Space Brewing. You have your home, you have your work, but everyone needs a third space. Gentlemen, just wanted to say thank you again. Milwaukee is lucky to have you here, all three of you. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Find upcoming guests and archives of past Local Live segments at WMSC.org and tune in again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another in-studio session with musical guest blues band called the Incorruptibles. They're awesome, so do not want to miss that. And stay tuned for more info about next Live from Anodyne shows on June 2nd, I think. Whatever the first Tuesday in June is.
There we go.
It's going to be a band called Piles, and they're awesome.
Oh,
so
yeah, you don't want to
hopefully
miss that
you'll be
one.
there. Thanks again, everyone, and good night.